The Sean P. McIlmail Hero Award is in memorial of Sean McIlmail. Sean was a survivor of priest abuse who tragically died of a drug overdose when he was the only person in statute to prosecute Father Brennan in the Philadelphia Archdiocese. Like so many other survivors before him, he did not make it through the process. And so we want to remember him, and through his parents' extraordinary generosity, each year we recognize someone who has made a difference in fighting the battle of child sex abuse. This year we are honoring Senator Joseph Vitale. He is a New Jersey senator, a longtime senator, and he is really the hero in the story of the window legislation that was passed in New Jersey.
Our son Sean was a victim of child sexual abuse by a priest repeatedly. The Catholic Church knew about him years before my son was even born. And what did they do? Transferred him from parish to parish to parish.
You know, child sex abuse has this insidious effect on each individual. It is a combination of shame, humiliation, and trauma, and then the ways in which the trauma operates through the person. So that Sean McIlmail came forward when he was 26. The average age to come forward, according to the best science, is age 52. But we see what happened with Sean. He was 26, but he wasn't yet ready for the system and the stresses of the system. But the statute of limitations forced him into the spotlight, and that's why the McIlmail started the Sean P. McIlmail Statute of Limitations Research Institute, and that's why they ask us to honor a hero in the fight for the victims in the church and of other institutions every year.
I think Sean was a hero because he came out so early.
He was able to say at 26 years old what had happened to him. He was really motivated by his two nephews, that he really did not want them to have to go through any of this. And at the time, they were only 2 and 4 years old.
We pursued a criminal case. Unfortunately, he died a week before the case was supposed to come to court.
The tragedy with Sean is that the state legislature in Pennsylvania has yet to enact window legislation. And what that means is that the vast majority of victims have not had the opportunity in the state of Pennsylvania to come forward yet. We are fighting for statute of limitations reform in Pennsylvania as well as in the rest of the country, because we can't afford to have more loving, sweet men like Sean McIlmail pass away because they were forced into the role of being the only one that could press charges because of unfairly short statutes of limitations.
The reason we selected Senator Vitale this year is because he has done a phenomenal job in New Jersey in getting laws changed. The SOL give them additional 2 years.
He gave us the chance to go to Jersey and to testify, and he thought enough to bring in the people that had lost their children or their sister, their sibling, whatever.
All the statements, the victims, I think they were so moving and convinced the senators in the General Assembly, hey, this is wrong. We need to extend the statute of limitation another 2 years to let these victims have some sort of closure in their life and move on. Senator Joe Vitale, we want to thank you so much for all that you have done. You have helped countless people.
Our son meant the world to us.
And we hope that you continue to fight the good fight, and congratulations on winning the Sean P. McIlmail Award for the year 2020.
Senator Joe Vitale was fighting for so many survivors in the state of New Jersey. He gathered so many to both testify, but also to be part of this large group that was needed to get the legislation passed. It really was remarkable. The close relationships he formed with so many people, including the McIlmail family. I know they treasure the fact that he listened to them and had them testify. Senator Vitale has a huge heart. And that was evident from the beginning, and it's one of the main reasons we got this bill through.
Thank you, Senator Joseph Vitale, for everything that you've done. We do appreciate it. Yes, I'm really grateful. It was probably took about 18 years to finally pass that legislation for it to be signed into law to protect our children and to repeal the statute of limitations law here in New Jersey. But Child USA, Marcy Hamilton, and their organization, as well as many others, were key team members in this effort. Again, it took maybe 18 years of work. The bill reintroduced almost every year, but we never compromised on our principles. We never compromised on the need for the legislation and why. We never accepted those amendments or those suggestions from those organizations who really enabled the abuse and rape of children. Never considered their amendments because they were always self-serving. So I'm grateful for their support, for their, not just for the support, but for the intellectual capital and investment that they made in drafting legislation with us. Making sure that every member of this legislature understood the consequences of this legislation and the history of child abuse. And Child USA has, for as long as I can remember, and certainly much longer, been a champion of defending children against abuse, making sure that they have their rights, they have access to justice and services and more. And so it's great. I'm grateful to get an award from that kind of an organization who is legitimate and means so much to the children of this country. And for that, I'm eternally grateful for their support, but also for this award, but to be shared with all those who really made this happen at the end of the day.